In a world where authority often oversteps, the United States is anchored by the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, crafted to protect individual liberties by curbing government power. As the United States Constitution was being produced, two factions collided: Federalists and Anti-Federalists. Federalists, including Alexander Hamilton and James Madison, contended that a Bill of Rights was unnecessary, asserting that the Constitution's built-in checks and balances already constrained the government's ability to encroach on liberties. They further worried that listing specific rights might imply unlisted ones were vulnerable, granting the government unintended powers. Anti-Federalists such as Patrick Henry and Samuel Adams insisted on an explicit listing of individual protections, fearing that without them, a dominant central government would erode freedoms. James Madison acknowledged the need to address anti-federalist apprehensions for national unity. He became the Bill of Rights chief architect, sifting through over 200 proposed amendments inspired by Enlightenment philosophers like John Locke, who championed innate rights to life, liberty, and property, as well as the English Bill of Rights, which curbed monarchical overreach, and state charters like Virginia's Declaration of Rights, authored by George Mason, which outlined safeguards for free speech, religion, and due process. After diligent work and careful consideration, James Madison crafted 17 amendments, which he presented to Congress on June 8, 1789.
Esteemed colleagues, I present these amendments for your careful consideration to secure the liberties of our new nation.
Following intense debates in the House and Senate, proposals altering the Constitution's framework were set aside, with the emphasis honing in on protecting individual liberties. This process led to 12 amendments being forwarded to the states for ratification. 10 of these secured approval from 3/4 of the states on December 15, 1791, officially establishing the Bill of Rights. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Many colonists left Europe to escape religious persecution, but some colonies, like Massachusetts, created their own theocracies and punished dissenters. In England and parts of the colonies, the Anglican Church's dominance sparked fears of a national church. The Religion Clause prevents government control of religion and protects individuals to worship their faith freely. British authorities frequently punished colonists for criticizing the Crown and controlled colonial presses through licensing and censorship. During the Revolution, some patriots even censored loyalist voices. The First Amendment's free speech and press clauses protect individuals' rights to debate ideas and expose truths without punishment, while ensuring the public has access to uncensored information. Colonial protests, such as the Boston Tea Party and Stamp Act riots, were met with British crackdowns, where assemblies were branded as treasonous. Colonists repeatedly petitioned the Crown, including the Olive Branch Petition of 1775. Initially drafted by Thomas Jefferson but rewritten to be less hostile, it was the colony's last attempt to reconcile with Britain, but King George ignored it. The Assembly and Petition clauses protect the right to peacefully mobilize, protest, influence policy, and provides a direct channel to challenge the government. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The Revolutionary War was fresh on American minds. The founders were determined to prevent the new American government from becoming another monarchy. An armed populace was their ironclad safeguard against federal tyranny, a guarantee that the people held the ultimate power. Before the war began, the British aimed to crush colonial resistance by seizing weapons and gunpowder. This provoked the battles of Lexington and Concord in April 1775 the Revolution's opening shots, when colonists rallied to defend their arsenals from British troops. Without militias and their firearms, the colonists would have been defenseless against a professional army. Frontier life was brutal. Settlers faced bears, wolves, and other predators that could slaughter livestock or kill. More critically, they clashed with Native American tribes resisting colonial expansion. For settlers, a musket or rifle wasn't just a tool. It was a lifeline. Placing the right to bear arms directly after the First Amendment, freedom of speech, religion, press, and assembly, was deliberate. The founders saw these rights as inseparable pillars of liberty. Free speech let you challenge power. The right to bear arms ensured you could enforce it. The founders knew that without the means to resist, whether against a bear, a bandit, or a tyrant, liberty was an empty promise. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. During the colonial period, British authorities often forced colonists to house and provide for British soldiers under acts like the Quartering Acts of 1765 and 1774. This practice, known as quartering, was deeply resented as an invasion of personal property and privacy, contributing to tensions that led to the American Revolution. While the Third Amendment has rarely been litigated in modern times due to changes in military practices, it remains a foundational protection of individual liberty and a reminder of the importance of limiting government intrusion into private homes, safeguarding personal property and privacy. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. In the colonial era, the British used writs of assistance, which were general search warrants allowing British officials to enter and search homes, businesses, and ships without specific evidence of wrongdoing or judicial oversight, which colonists saw as an overreach. The Fourth Amendment ensures that government searches or seizures of a person's property or person require a warrant backed by probable cause, supported by a sworn statement, and specifying what or who is to be searched or seized. By requiring judicial oversight and clear justification, the Fourth Amendment balances the government's need to enforce laws with the individual's right to privacy. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces, or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property, without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. The clause requiring a grand jury indictment for serious crimes was added to prevent the government from arbitrarily prosecuting individuals without sufficient evidence. Colonists had faced abuses like politically motivated trials, and this ensured a group of citizens would review charges first. Prohibiting someone from being tried twice for the same offense addressed concerns about repeated prosecutions used to harass or oppress individuals. This clause aimed to provide finality and protect against government overreach. The right not to be compelled to testify against oneself was rooted in resistance to coercive practices, like those seen in British courts or colonial interrogations, where individuals were forced to confess under pressure. This protection ensured fair treatment in criminal proceedings. The guarantee of due process of law, before deprivation of life, liberty, or property, was included to ensure fair legal procedures, reflecting colonial grievances against arbitrary punishments or imprisonments without transparent trials. The provision requiring just compensation for private property taken for public use addressed fears of government seizing land or assets without fair payment, a concern stemming from colonial experiences with British requisitions. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. The right to a speedy and public trial was designed to prevent prolonged detention without trial and secretive proceedings. This guarantee provides detainees the opportunity to plead their case in a timely manner and in open court, enabling public oversight to ensure fairness and accountability in the judicial process. An impartial jury ensured community involvement in justice, reducing government control over verdicts. The right to know clause ensures transparency by protecting against vague or undisclosed accusations, enabling the accused to prepare a proper defense. The right to confront witnesses allows the accused to challenge evidence and call their own witnesses, leveling the playing field between the state and the individual. The guarantee of legal representation is vital for navigating complex legal systems and preventing unjust convictions. In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Colonial Americans valued juries as safeguards against arbitrary government power, and Crown-appointed judges loyal to the monarchy, upholding English common law and colonial traditions where citizens resolved factual disputes in civil cases. This ensured citizen-driven justice over rulings by government-appointed judges. The re-examination clause prevents appellate courts from arbitrarily overturning jury verdicts, reinforcing juries as the final arbiters of facts, and addressing fears that a powerful federal judiciary could undermine local justice. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Added to prevent government abuse, drawing from English law and colonial experiences. It bans excessive bail to ensure fair pretrial release, prohibits excessive fines to avoid financial oppression, and forbids cruel and unusual punishments to promote humane justice, reflecting Enlightenment principles and anti-federalist concerns about tyranny. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. James Madison, being a Federalist himself, wanted to address the Federalists' fear. If rights are listed, people might wrongly think those are the only rights protected, and the government could control everything else. Madison said this amendment would prevent that misinterpretation. It acts like a safety net, clarifying that the list wasn't all-inclusive. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. Intended to prevent the federal government from arbitrarily inventing or assuming powers not explicitly delegated to it by the Constitution, ensuring that such undelegated authority remains with the states or the people. I really appreciate you sticking around till the end. If you enjoyed the content, why not hit that like button and subscribe to the channel?